All right, we are going to handicap the Preakness Stakes. And you see here, Nick Tomorrow, the Kentucky Derby morning line maker, posted the PPs. And Ed DeRosa says, reading this list reminds me of Major League when they meet before spring training to go over the guys being invited to camp. So here are the past performances for the Preakness, and as you can see, it's being run at Laurel this year. Let's see if this lineup looks like Pedro Serrano and Willie Mays Hayes, and Wild Thing is Charlie Sheen from the Major League movie. But we're going to start with the number one, Taj Mahal, who is the local horse. All 3 races at Laurel, all the workouts at Laurel. And this one goes for the ace Maryland trainer, Brittany Russell. You see Brittany Russell winning 32% with dirt races. She's 37% wins with a profitable ROI when she rides her husband, Sheldon Russell. And Taj Mahal is undefeated, 3 for 3 in his career. And his first lifetime race was slow early, so a slow start. He was behind horses for a little while in this race, took some kickback. He really didn't seem like he liked the kickback too much, was climbing a bit, but he does have some experience taking kickback, and he might need it here with this field. Yikes, there's all kinds of speed in this race. Taj Mahal won a stake race second time out, and we're going to watch his stakes win last time in the Federico Tesio. He had extreme outside post position number 10. Going 1 1/8 at Laurel, it's not a very long run to the first turn. So Sheldon Russell had to ask him for a little early speed in that race, and you're going to see how aggressive Taj Mahal was. Taj Mahal is the number 10.
And they're off in the Federico Tesio. Taj Mahal's being asked for speed. Will be wide to the first turn run. He wants to get over, and yeah, he's got enough speed to get over to the 3-path, now almost a 2-path, and he's made the lead. Taj Mahal's put right up top from that far outside draw, and he's rolling right along and takes off by some 3 lengths. Around that first turn run, Volendam will truck in second. Let's Go Lando is third, and it's another 4 lengths back. Higher Sense is in 4th position, just the outside of a Patient Wild Warrior, riding the rail down the backstretch run now. Code of Silence follows that, followed by Close the Gate. Hickson racing to the back of the pack, third to last position. Chayton is second to last, and Classic Nofty is in the back, strung out by some 26 or 27 lengths as Taj Mahal reels off a 23-4 opening quarter mile. Taj Mahal going for it up front, and he's opened up an 8-length lead. Taj Mahal from Volendam and rail riding Let's Go Lando third. Wild Warrior continues a patient fourth now, within about 11 lengths of Taj Mahal as around the far turn. Code of Silence looking to kick it in, some 8 lengths from that lead as around the turn. Back to Higher Sense, and after that is Hickson on the inside and Close the Gate, followed by Chayton. And Classic Nofty is the trailer. Taj Mahal at one time an 8-length lead. He's down to a 2-length lead, but it looks like he's got another gear. Taj Mahal after a 47-4 half mile. 6 furlongs a minute, 14, 1/5 of a second. Taj Mahal still with the lead as they turn for home. Taj Mahal, Wild Warrior is 6 lengths behind in second. Volentime trying to reach and shifting in just a tad. Let's Go Lando down to the inside. A fully driven Taj Mahal. He poured it on from the start, and they're just not going to catch him in the Federico Tesio Stakes. Taj Mahal rolling home, and Sheldon Russell posing for the picture to win by some 7.
All right, so that was Taj Mahal winning the Federico Tesio. Had to be used early from post 10. Pretty much ran off with Sheldon Russell. Sheldon Russell was finally able to get him to settle a little bit, got a mid-race breather, and then going into the far turn, he re-broke and drew off to win by 8 1/4. Pretty interesting race there. This is the son of Kentucky Derby winner Nyquist. They paid a lot of money for him, $525,000 as a yearling. He is undefeated, but like many in this race, he's got a lot of early speed. And he is a horse that if you do ask him to go a little bit early, he gets pretty pumped up. So the local horse, Taj Mahal from the rail. Taj Mahal has a home field advantage in this race. The number 2, Ocelli, might have had a bit of a home field advantage in the Kentucky Derby. Trainer Whit Beckman, based at Churchill Downs, a Louisville native. Ocelli made his career debut at Churchill Downs and did the bulk of his training as a 2-year-old at Churchill. He run phenomenal in the Kentucky Derby. Ocelli has 7 career starts, making him outright the most experienced horse in this race. Every other horse has 6 starts or fewer, and he's yet to win, still a maiden. But quite remarkably, in the Kentucky Derby, he actually poked ahead in front at the 16th pole. So after 1 mile and 3/16 in the Kentucky Derby, it was Ocelli who was ahead in front. And of course, the distance of the Preakness, 1 mile and 3/16. Ocelli, like many of these horses, does have to go on the road in this race, and you kind of see how he ran in the Wood Memorial, the Virginia Derby, and the Sam Davis off the van. He didn't run anywhere near as well in those races as he did in the Kentucky Derby. But this is a plodding horse that needs pace. He got a lot of pace in the Kentucky Derby. He might get even more pace in this race. Quite frankly, all Ocelli has to do to win this race is run back to his Kentucky Derby. Can he do that? I think that's a big question. The number 3 horse is Crupper for Donnie Von Hemmel, Junior Alvarado riding. Crupper won a $200,000 stake race at Oaklawn Park last time when he was up close, practically on the lead the whole way. It was a nice step forward for him that day with Junior Alvarado on him, but he kind of had to grind it out against Chad Allen and Honey's to Blame. This is a big step up here for Crupper. And in his 2 victories, which were clearly his 2 best performances, he sat right on the pace in both of those races. The pace should be supersonic in this race. Crupper looks like a throwout to me. The number 4 is Robusta, trainer Doug O'Neill. He's won the Preakness before, Rafael Bejarano riding. Robusta is another pace horse in this race. In the Santa Anita Derby, he went head-and-head for the lead, sat just off the pace in the San Felipe and made a big move to put the speed away that day. Couldn't hold on. His only career victory coming wire to wire. Robusta is going to have to step way up in here, and coming off his last 2 races, I just don't see it. He will not be on any of my tickets. The number 5 horse is Talkin for Danny Gargan, a Rod Ortiz Jr. picking up the ride here. Talkin was beaten almost 13 lengths by Further Ado in the Bluegrass last time out. Talkin has been pretty close to the pace in his last 2 races, but he's definitely not necessarily a speed horse. There's others in this race, though, who I like more from off the pace. I just don't see it with Talkin. He's going to take some money because of the jockey change here. But Talkin is not for me. If he beats me, he beats me. He'll be off my tickets. Next, we go to Chip Honcho for Steve Asmussen and Jose Ortiz. Just 2 starts back at the fairgrounds, Chip Honcho ran second in the Risen Star Stakes, beaten only a half length by Paladin. An eventual Kentucky Derby winner, Golden Tempo, was third that day. Chip Honcho actually finished 5.5 lengths in front of Golden Tempo that day. Chip Honcho actually qualified for the Kentucky Derby on points. He could have got in, but Steve Asmussen decided to skip the Derby and point to the Preakness. This is a horse that kind of gets stirred up by the crowd, and there won't be quite a crowd in this race. The concern that I have with Chip Honcho, his 2 best races came when he got loose on the lead. The Risen Star was a tremendous performance, but he got loose on the lead that day. And if you look at figures, the second best figure he's got was an 82, and that was the other time he made the early lead, went wire to wire, beat Marauder. When Chip Honcho is unable to make the early lead, he gets pretty keen and aggressive, and that's a real concern for me because there is a lot of speed in this race. And it's not just that there's a lot of speed in this race, there's some very quick horses, quicker than Chip Honcho early. So Chip Honcho's yet to show the ability to relax. He either wants to be on the lead or he wants to pull his way up and press the pace, and I just see the pace being too fast for him. Yeah, that's a real nice race 2-back, but I will wait for Chip Honcho to get into a race where he could get a nice, easy early lead and relax on the lead. That's when I'll take my shot with him. I won't take my shot with him in here with all this other speed in the race. So Chip Honcho, yeah, that race 2-back was big, but he is off my tickets. Next, we go to The Hell We Did. The Hell We Did goes for trainer Todd Fincher. Louis Saez in the irons. This dam here, Rose's Desert, was like a real nice New Mexico horse, and she is the dam of Senor Buscador, a horse that made over $12 million. One thing about Senor Buscador, he could close from way out of it. The Hell We Did looks like a pretty nice prospect himself, but he doesn't have that deep closing running style like his half-brother Senor Buscador did. He was positioned 9 lengths back early in this race at Sunland and drew off to win by 13 lengths, but it was only a 6-furlong race, and they went smoking fast early, 21-2. The Hell We Did has been at Laurel. He's got 2 breezes at Laurel. He's been pointed for this race and preparing for this race. maybe he can step up. Maybe he can even revert his running style tactics and come from off the pace in this race, but I'm a little skeptical of that, and I am going to be going elsewhere. Next, we have a horse who does have a closing running style, and that's Bull by the Horns for Saffie Joseph. You have husbands in the irons here, and his last dirt start was in the Fountain of Youth. He got a pretty good pace that day and got beat 20 lengths by some good horses, Commandment, Chief Wallaby, Solitary Dude. Did come back to win a $245,000 stake race on the Tapeta at Turfway Park, but man, oh man, these dirt races just don't do it for me. Bull by the Horns does have a nice closing running style, but his dirt races leave a lot to be desired. He will be off my tickets. And next we go to the 9-2 morning line favorite, Iron Honor for Chad Brown. Chad Brown's won a couple of these Preaknesses. Note that this horse is running with blinkers off. He had blinkers in all 3 career starts, had extreme outside post position 12 in the Wood Memorial, and he got bumped around a little going into the first turn, was wide on both turns and got very rank after he got bumped. Not only is Chad Brown taking the blinkers off for this race, but he said all along, even a month or so before this race, that he was trying to get him to relax in the morning, and they've been really working on getting him to settle. And that's a very good trainer who's been working hard to get this horse to settle. This horse has good natural speed, winning the Gotham practically wire to wire over Crown the Buckeye. If, and it is an if, but if Iron Honor is able to settle, relax, and make one run, he'll be a huge factor in this race, and it's getting first-time Flavian Pratt. And one interesting thing to note about Iron Honor, he's a son of the sire Nyquist, made 3 starts. He's gotten very pumped up in his races. You saw the replay of the one horse, Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal, also a son of Nyquist, also has made 3 starts, also shown some talent, but does get keyed up early in races. So if Iron Honor is able to settle and relax and make one run, he's going to be a huge factor. He's an obvious contender, but you're going to have to put a lot of faith in Chad Brown's training if you think he's going to win this race. Next, we go to Napoleon Solo, who quite frankly might be the best horse in this race. Napoleon Solo's victory in the Grade 1 Champagne Stakes as a 2-year-old, where he made the early lead, he went 107-4 for 6 furlongs and held on to win. That is the best performance by any horse in this race, and it came when he was a 2-year-old. This is a horse who has blazing early speed. In the Fountain of Youth, it was his first start off the layoff. It says awkward start. He didn't break well, and Kendrick Carmouche tried to rate him that day. And he was simply no match for horses like Commandment, Chief Wallaby, and Solitary Dude. No match for them coming from off the pace, that's for sure. So after the Fountain of Youth, Napoleon Solo was actually entered in the Arkansas Derby, but he was having some feet issues. I think he had a heel bruise, and they had to scratch him from the Arkansas Derby because of a heel bruise. So he ends up having to wait for the Wood Memorial, and he torched a half mile in 47-1, blazing fractions, came up short, and the stretch was beaten 2 3/4 lengths in the Wood Memorial, but Napoleon Solo set a torrid pace that day. The race just completely collapsed. It was all long shot closers, 1, 2, 3. And interestingly, here's what trainer Chad Summers had to say. Summers said, "We were training with an egg shoe before the Wood, and we're training just to make the race rather than to win it. That's difficult to do. Now that he can train like he wants to, it goes a long way. He's a handful. After the Wood, we pulled the shoes off for a week. Since he's back in his old shoes, he's back to his old self." When Chad Summers says egg shoe, he's talking about an egg bar shoe. Probably the most famous example of an egg bar shoe ever was Unbridled Song, who was actually the grandsire of Napoleon Solo. He had his share of foot issues, and Unbridled Song was an absolute monster, but he wore egg bar shoes in the Kentucky Derby, and it got a lot of publicity, and he went very fast and came up short in the stretch. So essentially what Chad Summers is trying to say is that he didn't have a lot of confidence in Napoleon Solo going into the Wood, had to train in the egg bar shoes, was training just to make the race rather than win it. So maybe you can forgive Napoleon Solo for coming up short in that race. And since he's changed the shoes, Napoleon Solo's put in some very impressive workouts going into this race. This will be Napoleon Solo's 3rd start off the layoff. He does have a right to improve. This is a very fast horse. If he breaks the gates well, he might be faster than any of these horses. There's about 7 speeds in here, and I think Napoleon Solo is the fastest of them all. 44-1, 107-4. He can roll. So Napoleon Solo is a very dangerous horse, but this is a 1 3/16 race. He is carrying 126 pounds, and there's about 7 other speed horses in here. So do you trust Napoleon Solo to see out this 1 3/16 distance under 126 pounds? He's going to take some pace pressure at some point because there's other horses in here who are very fast. I like the horse Napoleon Solo a lot. In fact, I think he might be the most talented horse in this race. But boy, this is a tough ask going 1 3/16 with like 7 other speeds in the race. Next, we go to Corona d'Oro for trainer Dallas Stewart, the veteran Johnny Velasquez in the irons. Corona d'Oro set the early pace in the Lexington Stakes last time out at Keeneland. Ended up finishing third, beaten 3 lengths. 2 starts back, went wire to wire. A nice maiden special weight win at the fairgrounds. The 3 starts before that were all in sprint races. Corona d'Oro is definitely a nice little horse, but he is another speed horse in a race that quite frankly has too much speed in it, in my opinion, so I won't be using Corona d'Oro. Next up, we have Incredible for trainer Riley Mott and Jamie Torres. Trainer Riley Mott did not plan to run Incredible in this race. He was kind of like a surprise entrant just a couple hours before the draw. And quite frankly, I think Riley Mott saw how this race was shaping up and made a very, very smart move entering Incredible. I don't see how Incredible would get anything in the Belmont Stakes. He's got to go against Renegade, Golden Tempo, Chief Wallaby. But in this spot here, the Preakness, with all this speed in this race, all these horses that are suspect, Incredible really is a clear and obvious contender on paper. He's got a closing running style. If you watch the replay of the Kentucky Derby, his jockey Jamie Torres sent him and used him a little bit from the gate for speed. Really, in that first furlong, was kind of asking him to keep him in the main body of the race. Incredible was still able to finish pretty well in this race, only got beat 4 lengths in the Kentucky Derby. I think he might have run even better if they let him settle early in that race. 2 starts back, he won the Virginia Derby by 4 lengths. Now, the Virginia Derby hasn't been a very tough race. Ocelli did come out of the Virginia Derby. But if you look at all the horses that ran in that race, I mean, they're like 0 for 8 subsequently with a lot of dud performances. But Incredible ran very well in the Virginia Derby. You got to forgive the Holy Bull. I don't know what happened that day, but he didn't fire. And he does have that grade 3 win in the Street Sense as a 2-year-old from Off the Pace. I think anybody who watched my Derby video would know that I am not an Incredible fan at all, but I think he's got a huge shot in this race. Huge shot. I think it was a great last-minute entry by Riley Mott. Of course, from a gambling standpoint, people are going to say, well, this race wasn't the plan. It was like a last-second audible for him to be in the race. And he might maybe even go off favorite. Do you really want to take a short price on a horse that was thrown in it at the last second? And I understand that thinking. But quite simply, Incredible is the most dependable closer in a race that is just looks like it has to fall apart. We just don't know how you can keep Incredible off your tickets. I think he is a very logical and obvious contender in this race. Next, we go to Great White, the 1,375-pound gray horse. He was entered in the Kentucky Derby and flipped. They had to scratch him right before the race when they were loading horses in the gate. He flipped. Great White only has 1 dirt start. He went to the lead in the Bluegrass and ended up getting beat a city block by Further Ado. But he has demonstrated an ability to come from Off the Pace on Tapeta. His stakes win in the John Battaglia Memorial 2 starts back. He sat about 1.5 lengths off the pace. Trainer John Ennis, a pretty good Tapeta trainer, but just 5% wins on dirt. Great White just doesn't do it for me. He will be off my tickets. And finally, we go to Pretty Boy Miah for trainer Jeremiah Englehart. They call Jeremiah Englehart Miah. I don't know how pretty he is, but they named this horse Pretty Boy Miah. Ricardo Santana rides. This horse improved greatly in blinkers. You see his first 2 starts were nothing too impressive, but this 3rd start, they put blinkers on for the first time, and the horse was sharp and focused, battled on the lead, and then opened up the win by 6.5 lengths. His speed figure jumped way up in the blinkers, then he came right back to win again in the blinkers. Pretty Boy Miah is coming in off a couple of nice wins, but you got a speed horse in post 14 with about 8 speeds to his inside. So Pretty Boy Miah is going to be off my tickets. All right, so now we get to the fun part, selections. I got to be honest with you. If Golden Tempo was in this race, this would be a layup win for Golden Tempo. This race is like tailor-made for Golden Tempo. Golden Tempo needs a fast pace. There's all kinds of speed in this race. I just don't see how Golden Tempo would lose this race. But Golden Tempo is not in the race, and I really believe it was because of the 2-week turnaround. Golden Tempo's trainer, DeVoe, never runs horses back in 2 weeks. You can look on Formulator. Last 5 years, she's never run a single horse back in 2 weeks or less. And that's obviously how the trend is going with trainers. These trainers just want to give horses more and more time between starts, and I think I covered that pretty extensively in the last 2 videos. And of course, there are the HISA rules. There are the HISA restrictions where you can't do joint injections. You know, you can't do certain types of vet work within 14 days of the race. But quite frankly, I don't think horses like Golden Tempo or Renegade would need their ankles injected to beat these horses. You could just lead them over and they'd win this race. But you can't focus on horses that aren't in the race. You have to focus on the horses who are in the race. There are 5 contenders for me, and I would say Taj Mahal is a very marginal contender, but he is a local horse with upside. Ocelli is a contender. He'll win this race if he runs back to his Kentucky Derby performance. Ocelli's had his share of chances, and he's never delivered. And we see how he's performed when he has to jump on the van and van in. Iron Honor, of course, is a contender. Chad Brown, blinkers off, pointing for this race. He's been trying hard to get him to relax. It is a horse with a lot of speed, but this is a horse, if Iron Honor does relax and is able to make one nice move, he'll get the jump on the closers, and he might be more horse than those closers. You got to love that this guy here, Flavian Pratt's on him. The 4th contender I see is Napoleon Solo. I think he's the most talented horse in the race. I think he is the speed of the speed. But with all this other speed, him having to carry 126 pounds, him having to get 1 mile and 3/16, I don't know if he can do it. If he does get weirdly overlooked in the betting and is up there at like 10, 11, 12 to 1 or more, he might be interesting though at that price. And last but not least, the 5th contender I see is the last second entry, Incredibolt. This race should set up so nicely for Incredibolt. There's all this speed in here. I'm no fan of this horse. I think his Virginia Derby win was overrated, but I just can't find a way around him in here. I mean, I'm picking Incredibolt. Incredibolt first, Iron Honor second, give me Ocelli for third, and Napoleon Solo for 4th. So my 1, 2, 3, 4, Incredibolt first, Iron Honor second, Ocelli third, Napoleon Solo 4th. I am literally picking a horse to win that was thrown in at the last minute, and quite frankly, it's a horse I've never been a fan of personally. I just think this race sets up too good for him. I think it's got to be a closer, doesn't it? And if it's not him, the maiden Ocelli is the other closer, and Iron Honor may be able to relax without blinkers. If it's not a closer, though, I got a good feeling it's going to be Napoleon Solo because he's the most talented one in this race. But it has to be a closer, doesn't it? There's just too much speed in this race. So anyway, those are my handicapping thoughts on this Preakness. This is not exactly a star-studded Preakness field, but I will take Incredibolt to win it. Thank you for watching.